Yo, what's up guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. Tensura x COTE, The God and the Genius by Tempest_Moon. Chapter 1, Advance Nurturing High School Kiyotaka Pav. First day at school. I wonder what it's going to be like in the entrance ceremony. I'm riding a bus while I idly watch the outside of my window. We passed different buildings while the bus gets more and more crowded, and a lot of students wearing the same red uniforms like mine are slowly piling in the bus. I see adults having a look of frustration in the early morning, and an elderly woman was shaking a little while she was standing. That must be tough for her. Thankfully, I was fortunate enough to find myself a seat. I see other passengers avoid their gazes towards the old woman, and I feel that all of us are on a similar mindset. Would you mind giving up your seat towards this elderly woman? As I was trying my best to keep my eyes open, I heard a voice coming out from somewhere. An office worker woman approached a student who was seating on the priority seat without a care in the world. He didn't pay attention to the woman, and it seems to irritate her. I'm talking to you. Can't you see that this elder was having a hard time? Slowly opening his eyes, the long-haired blonde student raised his head towards the woman. And what does it have to do with me? Even with his arrogant demeanor, he didn't care what others might think of him. I feel like everyone else, including me, agreed with him, but this only caused to infuriate the office woman. How rude of you. For a high schooler, you really lack any manners. Clearly annoyed, she glared at the student who has a smile on his face. That's crazy talk, lady. I just didn't find any reason to do what you asked, and also I do not have any obligation to give up my seat. Crossing his arms, the blond man leaned on the seat while grinning broadly. Listen here. You should really listen to your superiors, you know that? He then let out a mocking laugh and replied, That's nonsense. Although I will say that you both have lived longer than I am, but superiority does not have any correlation towards this situation. You may be old, but that doesn't mean you're my superior. The lady was now furious about the student, and when she tried to grab him out, the old woman took the lady's arms. It's okay, young lady. I appreciate your concern, but I'll be fine. The old woman does not want to increase the commotion, so she tried to stop the lady. But the lady seemed to be very upset after being insulted like that. I might seem bad bug, I have to agree with that guy. Only pays attention to those who are high value, while they ignore those who has little value on them. I looked away from the scene and started staring outside again when I noticed that a girl with a bluish silver hair hopped in the bus. Every single one is staring at her, including me. Based on my little knowledge about fashion and women, this type of girl are always the popular one. Her figure is sublime, which could make anyone fall in love. In this world, her beauty can make a guy fall in love head over heels. I wonder what falling in love really feels though. While I was busy with my thoughts, a male student stood up and showed her his seat and asked her to take it, which she happily accepted. Seeing her smile made that male student blushed red. A simple smile can change your feeling towards someone. Seems like a good technique for manipulation. As I looked at the newcomer walk in through some seats in the bus, I noticed that she looked at the old woman and slowly turned towards her. Here, take my seat, miss. Her simple gestures are only laughable towards a self-centered people, but no one in the bus looked at her with a feeling of disgust or confusion. They were at awe by her kindness, in which everyone felt ashamed except me for looking away at the poor old woman. Thank you, little miss. But I'll be fine. No, I insist. I can stand a little bit longer, so it's fine with me. Showing her a kind smile, the old woman sat down on the seat as the young student stood next to her. Well, that happened. After that event, everything went back to normal. When I looked at my side, I saw a passenger next to me reading a book. That seems interesting. She was reading a book from a famous writer I recognized a little, so I got curious. When she noticed me staring at her, she glared at me and I looked away. We arrived at the school after a long, slightly boring trip and headed to the entrance. ANHS, a high school funded by the government in. We'll go here, I started muttering to myself with a calm mind until a black-haired student approached me. You were looking at me back there, aren't you? I was curious of what you were reading, that's all. Well, don't do that again, or else you will regret it. Is this girl threatening me? Anyways, that's all I'm going to ask, so goodbye. Wait a minute. Unconsciously I've said those words without thinking about it, She looked back at me with a confused look, so I started thinking of what I should say next. I've never been good at starting a conversation, but might as well try. That old woman, you didn't give up your seat? She straightened her back while looking at me with her sharp eyes. I didn't find the reason to. And clearly you also didn't give your seat, so why ask that? That's true. I just thought about it. What can I say? Then clearly you shouldn't have. You just wasted my time. Storming off, the girl vanished in a second in front of my face. Well, there goes my first interaction. While feeling a little bit disheartened, I slowly walked inside the school. When I looked around, I saw the same girl who gave up her seat towards the old woman. She was walking alone while stares are being thrown at her. She will be popular, isn't she? Minding my own business, I went straight to the building where the entrance ceremony will be held. Rimuru Pav, man, their eyes are annoying. Even when I first entered that bus, I felt all the lustful stares of the boys and eyes of jealousy for the girls, which made me feel uncomfortable. It only got worse after setting foot on the school. Their lustful eyes turned into murmuring, which kind of bothered me. Master. Shall I eradicate them for you? They will not be forgiven for giving such looks toward Master. I was surprised by the sudden suggestion of my partner. Hold on, Seal. Eradication is a little bit too much, don't you think? I do not. They should be grateful that I'm willing to give them a painless death. Looks like she's now out for blood. If you hate seeing me being stared at with lustful eyes, then why did you turn me into a girl? It's much better to turn you to a girl, Master. If girls started falling for you, Master, I would have lost it. So that's what you mean. Well, now I have go deal with it, and it's a little bit annoying. Sorry, Master. You're saying that now? In my next life, make sure to incarnate me into a boy's body, okay? Yes. I forgive you. Anyways, have you found the guy Ray always talked about? Affirmative. Flash back inside the black box. A younger Rimuru was seen breathing with such a graceful rhythm. She was having a sparring lesson with her teacher Ray while talking random stuff. Ray-sensei, isn't this a little bit too much for me? I said to him while I felt like my lungs would explode in any moment. My body is human and it was not omnipotent, but thankfully it was fit enough to train it in different martial arts. Don't be so foolish, Rimuru. You need to be stronger to fight off against that masterpiece. That masterpiece talk again. Sensei. Why are you fired up beating that masterpiece? And is there any reason for you to make me fight? Yes. Beating him would put shame on that director's name, in which would boost our chances to take over. And also, out of everyone here you are the only one capable enough to beat him. So the masterpiece, seems interesting enough. Is there any particular reason why he was called a masterpiece? Out of curiosity, I blurted those words out and caused Ray to stop from our training. He looked at me for a moment, then decided to talk. That masterpiece was a son of a politician named Inokoji Atsuomi. He defeated me in a campaign few years ago when I tried entering the politics of Japan. With the help of an underworld boss which I do not know, he succeeded to defeat me. So you want me to beat his son up because you spite him? Why don't you just do that yourself? I let out an exasperated sigh as I listened to his reasoning. He looked at me annoyed for some reason. You think I could just beat up a kid? Or trying to put me in jail? He said in an irritated voice. And what makes you think that I can just beat him up, idiot? I retaliated towards his stupid reasoning, which only caused him to be mad. That's it. Come here, I'm gonna teach you some discipline, you brat. He pounced at me with open arms, in which I swiftly avoided. Are you being serious right now? I'm also starting to get annoyed by this. You calling a teacher stupid is unacceptable. I'll give you a proper punishment, so behave yourself. Come on. You're acting like an idiot, so I called you one. And please, spare me with the "I'll teach you a punishment" thing. You know that you're no match for me, sensei. I said to him with clear provocation on my voice. He looked at me with such killing intent in his eyes, but I did not waver. You really are stupid, you know that. Those eyes are not enough to scare me. I've seen much worse than that. I refrained from saying those words out loud because I know it would only set him off. I never replied back to him and just raised my guard up. Even with my taunts, I know very well that I'm not in a good position right now. This fragile body is not going to be able to defend the full force of Ray's attacks. After all, he was an exceptional martial artist. But I still have the advantage due to my experience on this field. You're still fast as ever, Rimuru. But if I catch you once, it's game over for you. Catching his breath, Ray spoke while grinning madly at me. Oh please. Catch me if you can. I put on a little arrogance as I tried to taunt him even more. He strikes my head using his left leg, making a swift kick in which I simply ducked. Sensei, you said that he was the director, right? How can he be a politician? That will be none of your concern. Just know that you will be defeating his son, that's going to be your mission. Calming himself down, Ray spoke with a clear distinction in his voice than before. What a drag. I haven't even met the guy and he will be fighting me. I was feeling a bit tired by this and just wanted to rest. Yes, this is your purpose for living, so accept it. Intense pressure filled the room, and anyone who are weak at heart can be easily dominated in here. But not me. This is a comical sight, but I just kept it to myself. Fine, I guess. Can I at least know the name of this great masterpiece you've always talked about? His name is Kiyotaka Ayano Koji, the best White Room student. Flashback N***. That's his name, right, Seal? Yes, master. I've already saw his face on the bus, and seems like the rumors are true about him. Walking towards the hall, where I will be attending the entrance exam, I looked around students that passed by me. Hey Seal. Can you show me his face? Negative. It won't be fun if I spoil master with everything. It will be boring overtime. Sighing to myself, I didn't argue back with Seal and just accepted it. Ray. You idiot. Sending me here only gave me the freedom I need. Well, I guess the training in the black box where my fun begins. Grinning mischievously inside, I finally arrived at my assigned classroom.